Today, while I'm painting this, I'm gonna be talking about my series, which is called Walking Around in New York City, which is based on lost and found items. I want to talk a little bit of the background and how is this painting involved with my series, which I've been doing for the past 5 years. After I finished college, I didn't know what to do because they usually give you very specific projects. So that was the first time that I was like freely that I could do and I can paint anything I want. And I was walking around in my neighborhood Sunday night and I saw all this garbage, but it wasn't garbage. It was imperfect condition items like tables, shoes, clothes. Day after day, I keep finding items, furniture, toys, shoes in imperfect conditions, just laying on the sidewalk. This is when everything begins. I finished a dentist appointment super early in the morning. It was around 10 a.m. I had my phone on my hand with my Google map because I decided to walk back home and I didn't know the area that well. And while I was walking on a sidewalk, I see this giant teddy bear. It was a panda and it was laying on the grass with this lighting reflecting in the stomach. It was so pretty, so beautiful. And that's when I decided to take my first photo, and that was my first painting. This is the image from my first painting, from walking around New York City. That giant teddy bear, I saw that morning on the sidewalk, and it has a triangular shape because in my head I wanted to make this shape with my hands, catching the perfect view. So I make most of my paintings in this shape. For this specific series, I decided to first make a pencil drawings. One, because it's not that much space, the paintings are very small. Also, because I wanted to make it look very similar to the original photos. After that first photo and I created the first painting, I realized how I just wanted to talk about my own background and how to make my art unique and just tell my own stories. I grew up in a small town called Mocha in the Dominican Republic, and I moved here a long time ago in New York, Brooklyn. But after creating my first painting, I realized how different my background was compared to here, how my small town was compared to where I live now in Brooklyn, how people throw stuff away. So to me, that's when I started walking around and I keep finding items, but like what I was really attracted to was mostly toys because they were very colorful and it was so ironic to me. It is kind of insane to me how I see so many toys everywhere, almost every day, every time I'm walking around here in New York. Compared to my country, there is so many kids with not even one toy. They grow up with nothing. When I was little, my favorite toy was Barbie. And I remember every Christmas I would receive one, and if I was really lucky, I would receive 2 Barbies. By the time I was like 9 or 8, I had the biggest collection in my neighborhood. I had like 10, 13 Barbies. And I remember my neighbors, they didn't have any. And I would invite them over and we would play with mine. Oh man, it was so much fun. Sometimes we will be super creative and we will play a game that we call it The Voice. Just like the show, we will take a stick and take an orange and make a microphone Or sometimes in my backyard, we will play WWE and my first crush, CM Punk. I never saw anyone throwing anything away. One time my mom wanted to change the dining table, and I remember she took her old table, gave it to her sister, and got a new one. And that's how life was. We used to have things. If I didn't want anything, she would take my clothes and then she would give it to someone else. We never throw anything away, anything in the garbage. Life was so simple back then. You didn't have much, but everyone was so happy and so generous. One of my happiest memories was going to my neighbor's house Saturday mornings and having breakfast. I remember it was so simple. It was just like green boiled plantains with fried cheese and a tiny, tiny piece of salami. I don't know why I was so happy just by eating that. I have everything I needed in my house, but like I prefer to go to the house and sit with this bunch of people. It was so many people in the house. It was like maybe like they leave like 20 people. Their grandpa, their mom, like 10 children's. It was so funny. I was so happy. My mom used to hate it so much. She would like call me from my house to go over and don't eat in the house. But they were just so generous and just happy to give me a little play. And then I remember the first time I came here to New York and I took the J train in Broadway, Marcy Avenue in Brooklyn. I took that train one day before I moved here. I came here with my mom when I was like 11 years old and we wanted to go to Canastri. My mom loved buying fake bags there. We took the train and the train was really crowded. And I was standing next to this older lady. And then I touched her hair and I say, "Oops, I'm sorry." And she looked at me so angry and she was like, "You better be." I didn't take it so serious until I moved here and I realized how moody and angry and negative people are here, even though they have so much. So different than my country, that most people don't have anything, but they are so happy. I don't understand. While making these paintings, I was just thought I wanted to do something more than just this. So after this, I just every year at the end of the year for Christmas, I try to save money and send it to my mom back in my town, and then she can buy toys for those kids. They don't have anything. And this painting, this image in particular, is so special to me because this little girl holding this giant red ball was the first picture my mom sent it to me. She was the first little girl that she gave one of the toys with the savings that I have at the end of the year. It took me almost 3 years to make this painting because for some reason every time I saw the photo, I saw the image, it just made me really sad, even though I was happy for the little girl because I know that I make her a little happy with this ball, but it just made me sad to see the situation that she was living with. She's like there in her house. It's like no floors. There is no doors on that house. Maybe this is the first time that little girl has a toy by her hands. It's insane to me, but like it's the most beautiful, prettiest photo. I'm gonna save this photo forever. It just made me really happy and sad at the same time. It's just I have so many emotions. I'm just like really glad that I'm making this series and that she's in my paintings and whatever I'm doing right now. I like that. She's so cute. She's like the cutest little girl ever. And then her little round face combined it with a round red ball. Red is like one of my favorite colors. I don't know, it's like so cute. Her eyes. And but that make me really sad just to see the floor. They have like no floors. Sometimes art is so superficial, and artists could be so selfish and superficial about the art, and I don't want to be that. One of my favorite artists is Caravaggio. I love him so much. He's like my hero. Caravaggio was a badass. Maybe he was not like the best person ever because he killed a priest and he escaped from jail. But like, let me tell you, he was amazing. He would take homeless people and dress them up like they were like rich and then paint them like they were part of the loyal family. To me, that's incredible. While the other painters back in the day were only painting rich people, priests, he was painting homeless people and prostitutes. What about us? But I'm not comparing myself with Caravaggio, and I'm not planning to kill any priest anytime soon. But what I'm trying to say is like, by creating art, I love when people are just talking about their own stories through the art, and just be yourself and do whatever you want to do and be unique. That's why I make that sample about Caravaggio, and that's why I admire him so much, even though his paintings are incredible and they're so different from the other painters. I love how he used the contrast between the light and the dark. Throughout my paintings, I'm talking about my own stories, and I like that. I really make me feel like I'm doing something more than just learning, because of course every time I make a painting I'm learning something new every time, and I enjoy it, but at the same time I'm talking about my own story. And every time I see that little girl, I'm just thinking I make her happy with that little ball that it costs me nothing. Nothing it costs me. It brings me happiness, you know? So one day I was walking around again in my neighborhood near the train station, and I saw Barbie dream house. My dream house. The only thing that I didn't have when I was a little girl because it was so expensive and my mom couldn't afford it. I saw it in the street, on the sidewalk, near a bunch of garbage, and thus I make my next painting. I have so many paintings from this series and I wanted to show it all, but because this is the first part of this painting, because I'm gonna make a second video, I do want to show you this painting. It's so iconic to me because it was like next to the train station, and then you see all the garbage bag behind, the plastic ones, and then you see this like giant thing, I don't know what's it called, it's like holding the train, and then she's just there laying there, garbage. It's insane. My second painting from this series, the iconic Barbie dream house that I always wanted, exactly the same one, that yellow big mansion, 2 floors with the pink rooftop. It was insane. I saw it and I couldn't believe it. It was exactly the same one that I wanted. It was right there in the street. That's insane. So now I'm just working on the background. Because I'm working with oil paint, I just wanted to let it dry, and then next time I will work it more in the ball, and then to give more details to their face and everything else. to make it look more realistic. I hope you like my story. I'm not here to teach you how to paint, even though I can't do that, but I think it will be a little boring. I think it would be nice just to talk about the paintings and the story behind it. I think it's more interesting. Let me know what you think. I hope you like it, and as a bonus, I'm gonna give you my third painting from walking around New York City. This painting is called Bobo, this is how you call pacifier in my country. I was walking around. How many times I'm gonna say walking around? I was walking around in Central Park, the biggest park in New York City, and I saw the Bobo on the floor. I was obsessed with bubbles when I was a little girl. I left the bubble and then I was sucking my fingers for many years. I don't know. I thought it was funny. And I feel bad for whoever baby lost that bubble in Central Park. Bye.